Hello everyone, welcome to Durrett's Take. Let's get started. So, Game 5 of the NBA Finals is coming up soon, tomorrow. And the question is, can Miami force a Game 6? This will come down to two things. I'm not sure if you noticed in Game 4, but Jimmy Butler wasn't as aggressive on offense. I think he only scored like 17 points or something. Now, I will admit, AD guarding him this time had a little bit of something to do with that, but still, not aggressive. If he doesn't get past 30 points, in my opinion, the Lakers will win. There's no chance. The second is, do the Lakers role players shrink and make LeBron and AD do the work, or do they step up like Kuzma, especially KCP did in Game 4, and hit those shots that dictate the game? If Miami allows Lakers role players to get comfortable and do that, then the Lakers will win. Since I said this was going to be a gentleman's sweep, I'm predicting the Lakers will close it out Friday night. Mainly because either LeBron or AD, as you know, saw in Game 4, would get hot in the second half or hit that clutch shot. Because even though Miami has a good defense, it's very hard to guard the likes of AD and LeBron. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But it looks like Friday night, the Los Angeles Lakers will be the champion of the bubble. So to move on, I want to go over my top 5 college football games for this week. We got a game tonight and tomorrow before Saturday. But let's get started. We got a bunch of ranked teams, ranked versus ranked matchup. So it's gonna be pretty exciting. Number 5, I got 4 Florida versus 21 Texas A&M. Well, A&M got humiliated by Bama. It's not the end of the world because it's Bama, and while you want to see that loss a little bit closer and more competitive, it's acceptable to some degree. But I feel like Jimbo Fisher's getting on the hot seat real quick here because he makes $75 million and he came to be competitive against Bama, and he's just been going like 8s and 5s and 9 and 4s, 8 and 5s, like stuff like that. So it's been very mediocre, kind of like a Jim Harbaugh-ish feel, if you will. It's like, hey, we're paying you a lot of this money to not be just average or decent or mediocre. Why don't you go next level type of thing? Now, while Michigan is a program that's hard to go that championship level, like A&M, I feel like, especially with the recruiting pool Texas will, and especially the fact they're in SEC, it should be easier to recruit and build for that championship level. But if Texas A&M loses at home against Florida, although Florida's a very great team, if they lose, especially if they lose and they're not competitive, then a lot of A&M fans are going to be calling for Jimbo Fisher to get fired. Now, because of the coronavirus, I'm not sure if A&M wants to buy out the contracts. It's a waste of money, especially when you don't have a lot of money as an athletics program right now as it is. But we'll wait and see how that goes. I do feel like it'll be close in the first half, but then Florida will pull away in the second half. Like Alabama did it to A&M. Although, even though A&M's going to have a rough start, I do feel like they're going to pick it up later on in the season. I just wanted to mention that, though. Just so you know, I'm not thinking A&M's going to have a horrible season, per se. So number 4, you got 19 Virginia Tech versus 8 North Carolina. So you remember, we all think Clemson, Notre Dame, Miami. But North Carolina, Virginia Tech, especially, they want to be in that conversation there. So the question is, who's going to be in the mix there? In my opinion, if Tech can get their players back from being either having COVID or contact tracing or whatever, because they've had 2/3 of their squad out for the most part to begin their season, then I would like their chances. But if they don't have those players, and the fact that it is in North Carolina, I'll take them to win this close matchup. I feel like it's going to be within the touchdown. It'll come down right to the wire. 3, you got 14 Tennessee versus 3 Georgia. So in my opinion, this is very much a trap game for Georgia because Georgia has Alabama on the horizon, and that's obvious. So it's very easy to look over a game before Alabama, especially even if it is a ranked opponent like Tennessee, just because Tennessee's kind of like ranked team's kind of quiet under the radar per se. But I mean, they have a winning streak going into last year. They're playing good football. So I'm not saying Tennessee doesn't have a chance at all per se, but if Georgia can just run the ball, then they'll win automatically. Even if they can't, I feel like Georgia's defense will just shut down Tennessee's offense. Because I feel like Tennessee's defense is good and Georgia's defense is good. But then when we look at the offenses, that's where I feel like even if you can start Georgia for running the ball, I feel like there's still an advantage for Georgia on the offense, mainly because of quarterback. So I think this is going to be a low score game. I think you're going to kind of see a similar game here with the ones when Georgia played Auburn. So I have Georgia winning by like 2 possessions, like Georgia scoring the 20s again, and then Tennessee trying just to get to double digits, like scoring a couple field goals. So I have it going like that. I mean, I would love it if Tennessee can make it very close, if not, because that make things very interesting in the SECs, because right now it's just Florida, Georgia. So that'll be interesting, but I don't feel like that'll be the case. So I'll take the Bulldogs to win so that they can be undefeated going into that Bama matchup. 2, you got 22 Texas versus Oklahoma. Even though Texas ranked, Oklahoma's the favorite here, which is interesting. But I'm not sure if the storylines for this rally game have been more interesting in a long time, because Oklahoma is already out of the playoff discussion, and right now looks like to be already out of the Big 12 championship discussion. Now that's still kind of a while. It's not. I mean, obviously Oklahoma loses this game, that's over automatically, but there's still a glimmer of hope. So I'm not going to say out completely. But for Texas, it's like if you lose and you're out of not only the playoff, I think they're already out of the playoff discussion, but maybe there's a glimmer of hope there. But you're definitely out of the playoff discussion if you lose. But then also, like Oklahoma, you're kind of out of the Big 12 championship discussion as well. And for Texas and Oklahoma, who are supposed to be the 2 best programs in the Big 12, that's not supposed to happen. Especially because Oklahoma, you can kind of tell new quarterback stuff. Okay, in a way, we're kind of rebuilding, but like Texas is not supposed to be rebuilding. They've been rebuilding for a while, so this is supposed to be their year. But even though the pressure on Texas, I feel like Texas with their senior quarterback and the experience keeping a rival usually does better, so I'm going to take them by a field goal, and it's going to be in the high-scoring game in the 30s. And then number 1, obviously, it's 7 Miami versus 1 Clemson. So the question is, will Miami be able to handle it? The big pressure and all that. Because in the past, when Miami looks like they're going to be good. Nope, no, they're not. No, this time I do feel like they have a quarterback that's actually really legit, which does help. Because in the past, they've been able to win based off defense, but then against a tough team like Georgia or Clemson or LSU, wherever, when they need to score a lot, I feel like they don't do a very good job. But this will be interesting to see what happens. I do feel like it'll be a 1-possession game, actually. But Clemson makes the clutch plays to survive and stay undefeated. So I'm looking forward to a lot of. So actually, what's interesting is there's not a lot of notable like college football games. Like the top 5 is obviously super good, but then outside the top 5, there's like actually hardly any other good games. So which is kind of interesting. But I'm really looking forward to this weekend just for those reasons alone, for those top 5. So now to go over my NFL picks for this weekend. I'm going to start off with tonight's football game. We got Tampa Bay versus Chicago. Now, for the longest, so at the beginning of the week, I thought, okay, I can see the scenario where Chicago gets the upset here, just because with these picks, you got to predict at least one upset, if not 2 every week. So that's just the NFL for you. But I thought, okay, this could be a game like Chicago. It's in Chicago, cold weather for Tom Brady. Even though he's been used to it in New England, still cold weather for Tom Brady. Chicago's defense is super good. So if Tom Brady's not careful, he will easily throw another pick 6, stuff like that. But then Tampa Bay's defense is good, and I'm not sure how Nick Foles would do against that, especially since they struggle against the Colts defense, which is one of the best in the league. Still, it's like maybe he might struggle with. So I feel like it'll be a low-score game, close game, but I feel like Tampa Bay will come on top. I changed my mind there from Chicago to Tampa Bay. Carolina versus Atlanta. This one will be, even though it's at Atlanta, I feel like Carolina will win this game, despite having no Christian McCaffrey, because they've been getting on a roll recently. They've been playing really good football the past 2 games. In Atlanta, they're just having too many injuries. So I just feel like they have too much to overcome. And Carolina will win. And if Dan Quinn, you lose a division game at home to a rebuilding Carolina team, I'm not sure what that calls. For me, that calls for firing, but I'm not sure if he'll be able to survive after that game or not. Expected to be a higher scoring game, though, because both defenses are not the best. Cincinnati versus Baltimore. I'm going to take Baltimore here pretty easily. I mean, Cincinnati's offensive line is just horrible, so Baltimore will just eat that right up. I feel bad for Joe Burrow because he's going to be struggling this game. Jacksonville versus Houston. This one was actually very hard for me to choose. But surprisingly, I'm going to go pick Houston here, even though they just fired their head coach. And you may be thinking, oh, they're 0-4, they might not have much to play for. This is a divisional game for them, which means it's automatically more important. And it's at home. And if Houston can win this game, then they're basically on track because they haven't played a divisional opponent so far. So even though they're starting off 0-4, if you just take care of your divisional opponents, then you're right back in the playoff discussion. So, and plus, even though Jacksonville started off hot this season, they're kind of declining a little bit. So I'm just not trusting them right now. So that's why I'm going to go with Houston barely. Las Vegas versus Kansas City. I'm going to take Kansas City here pretty easily, actually. They just have Las Vegas defense is not the best, and Kansas City will just destroy them offensively. Arizona versus the New York Jets. Now, I feel like Joe Flacco for starting for the Jets make things actually pretty interesting. But I'm going to go with Arizona here. I know Arizona's been struggling the past 2 games, but if you cannot beat the New York Jets, then Arizona, you are screwed, especially in your tough division. So I feel like Arizona will bounce back and get the win here. Philadelphia versus Pittsburgh. Now, I know it's surprising for the Eagles to get the upset against the 49ers. Well, let's face it, if the 49ers had Jimmy G, they would have won the game. Their quarterback situation was horrible. And we already know Big Ben is better than 49ers backups. So I'm going to take Pittsburgh here pretty easily. Like, Philadelphia should get blown out here. It's not only Pittsburgh has Big Ben and a pretty good offense, but their defense is super good, especially on that front line there. So they're going to get after the bad Eagles O-line and get after Wentz pretty easily here. So Pittsburgh wins that. Then you got Buffalo versus Tennessee. Now some people are thinking Tennessee could get the upset, but for me, I'm picking Buffalo, even though it's at Tennessee. This game, it's with Tennessee's COVID problems and like not be able to practice that much. I just feel like it's gonna be an advantage for Buffalo. Now, if everything's normal and there's no COVID, there's no nothing, then I would actually take Tennessee's game for the upset, the way they've been playing, but Buffalo's going to win. The LA Rams versus Washington team. LA Rams won pretty easily. Now, it'll be interesting to see what Kyle Allen does. I do feel like this will be a close game because Kyle Allen will be starting instead of Dwayne Haskins. So Kyle Allen hopefully doesn't turn the ball over. And the fact that Washington's defense, like I said, is really good. And the Rams struggled against the Giants defense. So I do feel like it won't be a slam shut case. The Rams blow out, but I'm going to take the Rams to survive here. Miami versus San Francisco. Another interesting one here. Because if Jimmy G doesn't play and there's a backup quarterback again, then Miami can easily get the upset here. But I'm assuming 49ers will find some way to survive here in a close game, especially since Fitzpatrick can throw interceptions pretty easily, and 49ers are pretty defense, despite the injuries. So Denver versus New England. It looks like Cam Newton will be back to New England, even though Gilmore's going to be out probably because of COVID. I'm going to take New England here easily against Denver with all their injuries. Even if Cam Newton wasn't playing, I'll still take them easily over Denver because Denver has too many injuries. Indianapolis versus Cleveland. This will be a very interesting game here. I'm much looking forward to it. But I feel like Indianapolis' defense is different from the Cowboys' defense, so Cleveland will have a very hard time against Baltimore, in my opinion. Now, it won't be much. I don't think it'll be as much of a blowout as the Baltimore game was. I think it'll be closer, but expect low scoring, and I think the Colts are going to win. Giants, Dallas should win easily. If they don't, that's a very big problem, and it should be cause for multiple fires. We'll see. Minnesota versus Seattle. Minnesota's offense, I feel like, will be able to actually score and put up some points against Seattle because Seattle's defense is not great. Minnesota's offense is great. But because Minnesota's such a bad defense, Russell Wilson will just torch them, and it'll be a pretty easy victory for Seattle, in my opinion. And Chargers versus New Orleans. I feel like this would be a pretty even game matchup coming down right to the wire, in my opinion. But I'm going to take New Orleans here. So those are my picks for this NFL weekend. And thank you very much for listening to my channel. Please subscribe to me, tell everyone about me. Thank you very much. Y'all have a wonderful weekend.